Hello and welcome to Module 6 of SMART Board training, where we're going to spend a lot of time focusing on multimedia and different types of interactive activities. A lot of this stuff is found in the gallery, so we'll spend a lot of time in that gallery there. But let's run through the learning targets. So in Smart Notebook, I can add multimedia objects from the gallery, such as sounds, animation, and 3D objects. I can add interactive objects from the gallery, such as matching, sorting, multiple choice, word unscramble, and click and reveal activities. I can create my own accept and reject activities in the activity builder. I can make a pull tab with directions on it so that you can access and then hide to make space for the activity on the screen. I can use the page recorder to create custom animations. And I can save all this stuff in the My Content section of the gallery, which we've seen before, but we'll go over that again. Let's start by seeing what kind of sounds I can find in the gallery and how to add them. So I'm going to go to that second tab down. That is your gallery. It kind of looks like a framed photo or a framed piece of art. So as I tap that, the first thing that I can do is search. So if you have a sound in mind, it definitely doesn't hurt to search for what you think it might be named. I can say that we're pretty limited in the sounds that we can choose from. The majority of the sounds are animal noises and instrument sounds and just the sounds that letters and short words make, kind of definitely appealing to younger audiences. So first I'm going to search for, well, something I know they have, like a lion. So I just type that in and hit enter. My results pop up down here. So under interactive and multimedia is where I'm going to see any sounds. Of course, pictures are just pictures and images. Related folders, now you can see kind of subsets of different topics where somehow a lion is related there. But I want to bounce right into interactive and multimedia, and we can see I've got a lion, and notice the little icon there, it looks like a little speaker. That means that it is a sound file. So I'm going to open or begin a new page and just drag this guy on over, and then I can just tap to get my sound for a lion. Now that was from a search. If I go back in the gallery, remember my content is the stuff that I've added. Gallery Essentials has all the sounds. So you're going to jump over pictures, we've seen that, but interactive and multimedia is where we're going to find all of our sounds. And I'm actually going to make this a little bigger so we can see more at one time. So any of these icons that have that little speaker are sound files. So as I drag this acoustic guitar over, we can get an idea of that. It's a bunch of stuff here, so it's worth kind of browsing. I mean, it's only 400 things, but to get an idea of what else is out there. If you want to be a little more specific in your browsing, that's where you can jump into these various content areas. So it definitely wouldn't hurt to kind of pick an area that is closest to your content area, and then again go back down to interactive and multimedia. And of course under English we see all the letters and the words. And a few other different animations and things that we'll talk about. It's really just the ones that have the sound icon that are actual sounds. So as you can see in English, it's basically letters and words. So I can minimize that. Let me just kind of try another one. History. Let's see. Oh, just 3 interactive multimedia there. But we can see that they have all 3 parts of I Have a Dream speech. So that would just be another drag over. I can hit that icon.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Okay, so guessing I can tap it to stop it if it's a long, like this one would be a long sound. But yeah, it's worth searching, it's worth kind of exploring. One thing to note, when it comes to sounds, they're all in Gallery Essentials. You won't find any sounds in these other sections. So if it's a sound you need, you want to find it in Gallery Essentials. Now let's talk about all the things under interactive and multimedia that aren't sounds. Basically you'll see these little red circles in the upper left corner of these icons, and that means it's some kind of animation or little interactive widget to mess with. And there's tons out there. I definitely recommend narrowing it down to your content area before you go searching. Let's see what we can find under mathematics. So under mathematics, there's there's a scale that we can add and subtract weights to. There's activities about angles. again, it's almost overwhelming, but when you find the time, it's worth kind of exploring various things. Let's throw a dice into here and see it work. See, just every time I tap it, it's just for various activities that might require a dice. So back into the gallery. Let's see. Let's pick another topic here. And some have just one, and some have a lot more. Just kind of depends. Now, if it doesn't have the circle, it's got, it kind of looks like an old film strip. That is like just an animation. So I don't think this will be interactive. It'll basically just, there's a little play button there. And I'm guessing we're about to see some amoeba. And there we are. So again, I encourage you to just kind of browse and search and just kind of see what you can find. So far we've really just messed with Gallery Essentials. As I get into these other two, the Lesson Activity Toolkit and the Lesson Activity Examples, it's a little more interactive with various activities that we'll talk about. But let's also take a look at these 3D models that we have baked into here as well. So the 3D models are under Lesson Activity Examples and then 3D Objects. And I'll go ahead and start a new page to show off one of these. I like the crab. We'll put the crab into there. So you just drag it over. I can tap as long as I'm on auto hide. Remember that option is there to get to my page. And here he is. And he just looks like an image. But when I tap him, I get these handles to see more. And I can actually make him take up more of the space. But you might notice your computer slowing down a bit while you're messing around because it's asking a lot of the computer to kind of show all the angles of this 3D object, and kind of depends on which handle I grab. I can rotate on various axes. But yeah, kind of just a neat thing. There are of course various animals, a fish that's halfway dissected it looks like, an astronaut. And we'll see how the computer fares with two 3D objects at once. Oh, it's working pretty good. So, so as you can see, I can see him from any angle, and maybe kind of a party trick, but kind of neat to see. Okay, so back in my gallery, I'm going to go from Gallery Essentials down to Lesson Activity Toolkit. And you can see there is a lot of interactive and multimedia in there as well, but no sounds. It's really just interactive activities here. But you can see it's really not quite 162 different activities. A lot of these things are the same activity in just different colors. That's why we see blue, 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 and then different types of activities. So as I grab one of these things, well, let me add a new page so I don't drag it on top of those 3D images. So blue anagram, well, will give me, and I'll tap on the page, and you may find that it's kind of too big, and just so grab that handle. Might behave a little slowly, but it should work to fit everything on there. And so it's basically a blank template for me to add content into. So an anagram, it's we're thinking unscrambling. So let's see. Let's see, cowboy. Okay, so these are the words that will be scrambled. The clues. Let's see. Random stuff. Okay, so, and I could even add images as clues. I can set a timer, speed here, if I even want a timer. Maybe I'll take that out for example's sake. I can set a password, and that would just be so the edit button couldn't be accessed without a password. So if you had kind of halfway supervised kids coming up to do this activity, you might want to add a password to it so they can't mess with it. Basically, I just hit start. I see that it's a little easier once you know what they're looking for. But yeah, just once you do it right, it tells me excellent, and I can go on to the next thing. So there's your anagram example. Let's do another one. I'll add a new page, gallery. let's do a category sort. So again, looks like I want to change the size a little of that, so I'll scroll down, whichever side your tabs are on, that's where your scroll bar is. So let me try to grab that handle, move it up a bit, and then scroll back up, hit edit, and imagine this is sorting things into different categories. It starts out as 2 columns. You could add a third there if you wanted, but let's see here. Label, let's see. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Actually, let's see. If I'm doing a category sort of verbs and nouns, then here I would type in my content. Yep. You can see I'm using very advanced content here. So let's do one more. Okay, we'll say okay. Remember, option to put the password or not. And as you can see, it's a lot easier to do a lot of these things on your computer, and then once you've made it, then you can mess with it on the board. But yeah, you just drag them up, check, and if you're right, you get check marks there. Okay, a couple more examples. Back to the same spot. Remember, we're in Lesson Activity Toolkit 2.0. Let's see. Image arrange, image match. I don't want to spend too much time with images because I kind of have to collect my images first and load them all into there. Let's see. Let's do a matching activity. Oh, and I probably want to start a new page for that. Matching activity. Again, probably a good idea to show the whole thing by scrolling down, making that a little smaller. Move it back up. I'll edit, and let's see. Okay, and I won't worry about a password. I keep the solve button. So okay, and well, I basically just drag it over. Of course, with more items, it would have scrambled that up a bit, and so the order won't necessarily stay in the same order that you chose it. But I can check it, and we're good. So that's an example of the keyword match there. Let's do one more here, a multiple choice. Add a new page. Drag it on over, and scroll down, resize, and then I can get into the editing. So edit to create your quiz, and pretty self-explanatory. I could type my question there, enter in the answers, and I can do that for, well, up to 10 questions at a time. So these are definitely meant for students to be up here working the activities that you create for them. Okay, let's show off another activity from that lesson activity toolkit there. I wanted to show a reveal activity just because we had made ourselves a couple of different reveal activities. Remember when we revealed the labels on an image or revealed words in a sentence? Well, these reveal activities are similar, actually a little simpler though. Anytime I see the word reveal, it's a reveal activity. But I can even narrow that down by just typing in the word reveal. And we can see under interactive and multimedia. Well, a note reveal is the simplest one for sure. It will basically just let you, as I hit these buttons, nothing's in there now, but as I hit these buttons, a new note appears. So it could be a sequence of events or the steps to solving something. Basically, you just hit edit and you add in the note here, add in the note to each one, and then let me just throw some content in there for us to see. Okay, so yeah, again, I've already clicked them once, so they're up there, but yeah, basically you can turn them on and off just like that. So pretty basic there. Also in the category of reveal is a timeline reveal. Let me add a new page and we'll take a look at what a timeline reveal looks like. Okay, so we'll think about it, and we always go to that edit button, and you can just decide the number of dates that you want, put the date there, put what happened there, and it will just populate my timeline with dates and descriptions. And every time I press that button, of course, the description would pop up there. All right, I wanted to show one more click to reveal activity that's in the gallery as one of these interactive things. These shapes that you see, the circle, the rectangle, the square, the star, and the triangle, these are click and reveal shapes. So they basically serve to cover something up, and then when you click it, it makes it transparent. So similar to what we did last module where we added the rectangles over the words and then used object animation to make them disappear. So it's kind of personal preference which one you prefer. I'll show off both. So as I add that circle in there, I can drag it over one of these items. I see two different little graphics there. This one is similar to the resize handle on any object. Of course, it's not behaving as friendly for me, but it's getting there. And this one just lets me decide on the color that I want that circle to be. So I can hit OK, and it does say click here, so there's that added thing. So if you like that, you can make that your reveal object there. But remember, you can basically choose any object as a reveal object with that object animation. So I've done a search for the Grumpy Cat, and just as an example, let's shrink you down, kitten. And so could be like that, and of course I would have to go with it selected to the Properties tab, and then I can go to Object Animation. I want it to fade out when the object is clicked. So the only disadvantage, I guess, this one will just turn on and off as many times as I want to click it. This one will just disappear, and it won't come back until I revisit that page. So well, I guess it kind of works that instead of kind of the on-off, it's still there, but it kind of appears to disappear again. So personal preference kind of thing when it comes to reveal techniques. So there is one more place to find some interactive activities that's not in the gallery. So we're going to say goodbye to the gallery for now. And I want to direct your attention to this little top hat with, I guess, some magic coming out of it. It's up on that first set of tools, and you should have it. If you don't, remember that gear here will let you add things that aren't there. So you'll find it in that first tab, and you would just drag it up there. And of course, I've got it already, so nothing changes. But if you don't have it, drag it up there, and that way you can access this lesson activity builder here. So these are some maybe fancier templates that they've got. Don't really accomplish anything new that our other activities didn't, so it's again kind of personal preference. But we have a sorting activity. I'm going to jump over shout it out now. We are going to talk about that in Module 10. A rank order activity, so you're just putting different words in order. A flip out activity, that's just another kind of memory type game that lets you customize the cards. Fill in the blank, which isn't exactly anything like we saw where you can type out a paragraph and then you see kind of a word bank that you can move words up to, so you can customize that. And then match them up, and that's just matching things one to another. So let's take a look at one of these to kind of see how they work. But they just instead of dragging it over, I'm going to add this activity, and then it's going to take me through some options. So I can do this in the jungle or in space. I'll choose space, and then I can choose Mars or the moon. So how about Mars? And this is kind of nice where filling in the content. I'll go over to my keyboard. But on the left spaceship, for lack of creativity on the spot, I'll make that noun. The right spaceship, I'll make that verb. And then we'll just add different words. Now notice I don't want to do a space between the words. I want to do enter between the words, and that makes it official. So cow enter. Yes, very creative, I know. And let's do some verbs. Let's see. Okay, so then I would hit next. Wow, all kinds of other options. I can add a timer, dice to pick a number at random, hat picks. So I don't think I'll go for any of those right now, but they're there. And then finish, and it builds it. And this kind of shows off the difference between, you know, before we just kind of had a T-chart and we were sorting them and then we could hit the check button. Well, the way I know if I'm right or not is my alien disappears. For better or worse, I mean, in my opinion, to have the word disappear and not be able to see it anymore is kind of a disadvantage. But we'll see what happens if I'm wrong. If I try to put a tree in the verb, it just shakes its head and says no, which is similar to what we'll see next when it comes to accept and reject activities. But anyway, I just wanted to show off the top hat option. Again, they're prettier. I think they're prettier than the stuff that you find in the gallery. So it's again just personal preference when it comes to this stuff. And now let's see how to build an accept-reject activity. What an accept-reject activity does is you have something in the center. I guess it could be anywhere, but the center is probably the best bet. And this is the place where you drag the other items, and it will either be accepted by having that item disappear, or it will be rejected by bouncing that item back to where it started. So for this one, we're going to accept mammals and reject any other kind of animals. So what do we do? Well, we need to go to this fifth tab down, which we haven't seen, the puzzle piece, and then select Activity Builder. Now, if that rings a bell, that is almost the same name as this Lesson Activity Builder that we just saw. So don't be confused, they are named very similarly, but definitely different. So this Lesson Activity Builder, that's all it does, is accept, reject activities. So as I tap it, I basically just follow these directions. I want to select the object that I want to be what they call the activity object. So that's that. Notice I got to bring it back up because I'm on auto hide. Maybe I'll disable that for now. So this is my object. I'll go ahead and hit edit with that thing selected. Notice it gets these diagonal stripes across it. And then I drag objects here to accept them, drag objects here to reject them. So I can do this pretty quick, hopefully. Oh, maybe not. Come on, stay with me. In there. Okay, we can see little representations of each one. I think I got them all. Then I can hit done, and my activity is ready to go. So I'll go ahead and auto hide that again, and we'll see how it works. Now, it may be a good idea also to lock this down, so I don't end up moving that, but all these things I do want to move. So as I try something that's not a mammal, we should see it just bounce back to where it came from, but the mammals should disappear into my image there. So rejected, accepted, accepted, rejected, rejected, accepted, rejected, rejected. So similar to those activities we just saw, I'm not exactly sure if I like the idea that the right answers disappear, but it is what it is. And to get it ready for the next student to use, you would think that I could go here and go to reset page like we've done in the past, but it's grayed out. I can't do that. So what I have to do is go to the puzzle piece here and hit reset all here, and then my activity is ready to go again. And this is a good time to bring up what a pull tab could be used for. Because as I look at this activity, I would never expect a student to have any idea what to do upon looking at this activity. I need some directions, basically just telling the students to drag the mammals to the center. So I'm going to make a pull tab, and I can search the word pull tab, and it comes up with all kinds of different results. It kind of depends on from where I want to pull it as to which one I would pick. But let me just grab, let's see, I've got some room right here, so I will pick that one. And so the idea is that it'll kind of live off screen looking like that, and when I want to see the directions, I just pull it onto the screen and read the directions here. So it's just a grouped object now, so I'll highlight it and then follow those directions, ungroup. So go to group, ungroup, and then I have access to mess with that text there. So I would just say something like, let's see, drag all the mammals to the center. Now, I didn't have many directions, so this would be a good example of, well, my prepackaged pull tab from the gallery is not really doing the job for me. How did I just select those two? Something to keep in mind, and this goes across all windows basically, outside of Smart Notebook, anywhere. If you want to select two objects, because I didn't want to draw a box because I'd end up selecting all those objects as well. I had one selected and I held Control on my keyboard while selecting the other. Now I have these two selected and I can go to Group, and so now I've got a pull tab. I'm not really satisfied with it because it's got all this wasted space here, so that'll lead into the next way to make a pull tab. And the other way to make a pull tab is just to build one using the shapes and the text tools that we've used already. So I can select a rectangle there and kind of make it the size that I think I'll need to fit the directions in, and then add some text to it. So there is text, so I'll say drag all the mammals to the center. Okay, and then I'll go in, select that text, change that font size to something that I know is going to fit. Go ahead and line down, selector. See if it fits in there, looks good. Okay, so now I need the little pull aspect, so let's take another rectangle. Something like that. Oh, go back to selector. Now I can put it exactly where it looks okay. I need more text because I need something that says pull. So, pull. Looks like that might need to be a little smaller. Oh, try that again. Okay, back to selector. I can rotate that. Let's see what makes more sense. I guess like that. Here, now I want to group all this stuff together. So, being careful not to select anything I don't need. Just make sure I stay within that box. Any of the drop-down boxes to group. And now I've got my homemade pull tab. I could even, let's see, once I knew where it was going to be, even lock that thing, not in place, but allow horizontal move. And now I've got this nice action there. So you can pull out to read the directions and tuck it away to do the activity. Okay, last thing to see in this module that is new is to make a custom animation. Now that's just going to make things move on the screen without me having to touch them. But I have to move them in the way that I want them to, because we're basically just recording the page to be played back later. So if I go back into that puzzle piece, there's a lesson recorder there. And so as I select that, I want a new recording. So my thought is to show how molecules react to hot and cold. So I'll just go ahead and hit new recording, and and now we're recording, so as I put the fire there, then I would kind of demonstrate how the molecules were being distanced from each other. But as the fire got taken away and the ice got added, well, then the molecules would be coming together. This I see as something that you could actually get your kids to create, either in front of everyone or as part of a station. And then let's see, hit stop, and then just hit play. So now we can kind of see my movements mirrored or just recorded. There it is. And a quick reminder about how to save content into my content. Different from just saving your lesson. Always a good idea to just hit the save button when you're done editing. But if I could see this page being pulled up in another lesson, Well, I can go to the page sorter, and two ways to do it. I can drop down here and go to Add Page to Gallery, and that is in the My Content section of the gallery. We see it show up there. Or if you're a fan of dragging, I can take it and drag it over to the My Content tab, the second one down, and into My Content, and now we see both of them appearing. And if you'd like to save just an object that you want to bring up again, pull tab comes to mind. I might spend a lot of time creating a pull tab, and then it's one that I want to pull out, no pun intended, for other lessons. Now, I'm a little stuck here because I can't drag it up when it's on that horizontal lock, so I do have to unlock it there, and then I can drag it up to the My Gallery, the Gallery tab, and then into the My Content tab, and we should see that pop up in, I believe it's called a picture, because there's no interactive content with it, so it shows up under pictures there. And I believe that is the end of Module 6. Feel free to contact me with any questions or if you'd like to meet, and look forward to seeing what kind of stuff y'all come up with.